Hey my sweeties, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm sure you've already seen this iconic red cushion foundation from the Korean beauty brand TIRTIR. This went mega viral this past summer whenever TIRTIR recently expanded their shade range to include 30 shades of this cushion foundation. So with the expanded range, everyone could try it and everyone was so impressed with the flawless full coverage that this foundation provides. And of course, this striking red compact really sets this foundation apart from all the others. But today, I'm going to do a little TIRTIR cushion foundation showdown because TIRTIR just released 2 more formulas for their cushion foundation. Each has a different finish and their own skin benefits. So here we have the Mask Fit All Cover Foundation and the Mask Fit Aura Cushion. So I'm going to try both of these today on each half of my face and kind of compare them, see which one I like better, and give you my thoughts as we go. So without further ado, let's get started. So before I put these to the test today, I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of information about each one of these and how they are different. I found this super helpful chart on Amazon actually, and it kind of goes over the differences in all 3 of these foundations. It goes over the coverage, hydration, the amount of glow, and the durability or like longevity you're going to get out of the foundation. So let's first start with the pink cushion foundation. This is called the All Cover Cushion. This is going to have a matte finish. So hopefully it's going to be completely mattified, not a lot of glow, not a lot of dewiness showing through. It's going to be very, very full coverage. This one is all 5 points in the coverage category. For hydration, this one has the least amount of hydration out of all 3 formulas, which makes sense because it is going to be a matte finish. And same thing for the glow category, it only has 2 points, of course, because it's going to be a matte foundation. And this one has all 5 points in the durability category. Just like the red cushion foundation, these ones, they last all day long. They have that 72-hour wear. They're transfer proof, smudge proof, smear proof. So this formula should last us all day long. And then next up we have the silver cushion. This is called the Aura Cushion Foundation. And this one is special because it has a dewy finish. So it's going to be the opposite of the pink one where that one's very mattifying. This one is going to have a very natural, dewy kind of glow to it. So because of this, the coverage is a little bit less. It only has 3.5 points for coverage. So it's going to be more of a natural finish. Think kind of like a tinted moisturizer or like a BB cream. But this one is 5 full points on hydration. So this one's going to be very hydrating, very natural. It's going to sit on the skin beautifully. I'm super excited. And this one also has the highest points in the glow category, of course, because it is that dewy glow finish. And lastly, for the durability, it's slightly less durable than the red and pink cushions, probably just because of the finish as well. Still 4 points though, so it might not last the full 72 hours, but who is wearing their makeup for 2 days straight anyway? I think we're gonna be fine. So I think the best way to try both of these out is to kind of just have an invisible line down the center of my face and do half of my face with the pink cushion and half of my face with the silver cushion. So let's get started. I'm going to prep my skin today with the TIRTIR Milk Skin Toner. I've used this before in a couple of my videos. This is a really amazing primer. It contains chamomile extract and rice bran extract that make the skin smooth and prepped for the foundation. I feel like this really just evens out my skin tone and reduces redness just a little bit, and it really creates a nice gripping base for the cushion foundation. So I'm just putting this all over. This primer also adds to kind of like the glass skin effect that is super popular over in Korea. So I've just found that this primer works really, really well with the TIRTIR foundation. So I haven't used anything else with it besides this. But so far, this has been a really, really good product. I'm gonna kind of let this sit on the skin for a little second before I add anything else, just to give it a second to dry and really set in. This toner literally just looks like milk. I think it's made of like rice milk, but it just looks so satisfying in here. As you can see, I've used like half the bottle, but I really, really love this stuff. So now that the Milk Skin Toner has had a chance to kind of settle into my skin, I'm going in with the TIRTIR Ceramic Milk Ampule. This will just brighten my skin and add extra moisture, and also it will really add to that dewy, glowy, glass skin effect that we're going for. I really like this product, and it comes in like a little pump, kind of like syringe. If you can see, it looks very similar to the toner, just a little bit thicker, and it has kind of like a pearlized effect to it. It looks kind of like shimmery. So I'm just gonna go in with this and apply it everywhere. This is just to really prime the skin and get it nice and moisturized, nice and smooth, so we can really lock both of these foundations in. So I think with that, we're just about ready to start applying this foundation. Just so no one is confused, I'm going to be using the Pink Cushion Foundation here on my left side, and I'm going to be using the Silver Cushion over on my right side. So first, let's just start with the Pink Cushion. This is going to be the matte finish. Here's what the compact looks like. I can't tell if you guys can see, but it has sort of like a green reflect on the container here. It's sort of like a holographic, kind of iridescent look. It's super, super cute. I really, really love these containers. I think they're just so cute. They're so easy to just throw in your bag and go. So when you open up the compact, you're first greeted with this little TIRTIR blending sponge. So this is the little puff that you're supposed to use when you're applying the foundation. Please, please, please use this. I know it's so easy to just throw away the little like crappy thing that makeup comes with, but I promise you, for this cushion foundation, you're definitely going to want to use this. Don't use a blender sponge, don't use any brushes, because you're going to pick up way too much product. It's just not going to work right. It's really intended to be used with the sponge that it comes with. But anyways, as you can see, we have a mirror, your little blending sponge, and then this door opens right here. And then we have our product. Let me just peel this little plastic off. This one is brand new. So here we have it. This is the product. All of the foundation is saturated in this sponge right here, as you can see. And I have the shade 17C Porcelain. I have the same shade in all of the cushion foundations just so we can keep things consistent. But this compact is super, super nice because it's all in one. You can keep it sanitary with this little closing door here. It keeps the product airtight so it won't get ruined. And then your cushion just sits right on top and it closes all in one. Super, super easy, super great to travel with. I absolutely love the idea of these cushion foundations. So like I said, all of the product is saturated into this sponge right here. And once you tap into it with this little blending sponge, it deposits it onto here. And you can see it already has a lot of product on here. A little bit goes a really long way, especially since I'm going to be only using this on half of my face. You really don't need a lot. So let's just go right in onto the left side of my face with this matte formula and see how it looks. So as I'm applying this, I'm keeping the blending sponge very taut and very flat. So I'm getting the full shape of the pad on my face. So that way we don't get any streaking, any weird lines, any creasing. It's all one consistency. And I'm being very mindful to stay on only one half of my face so we can really see what this product looks like. So I'm just going back in with a little bit more so I can get my forehead. I'm noticing that this foundation has a bit of a scent to it. The red cushion foundation didn't really have a scent. It kind of just smells like makeup. But this one has sort of like, it almost smells like a floral, kind of like soapy. It kind of reminds me of like the Irish Spring, like bar soap smell, but like very, very light. As you guys can see, this is a very, very full coverage foundation. The color matches pretty well, and it's definitely more matte than the red cushion. The red cushion, usually when I apply it with the same primer and everything, it looks a little dewier. You can kind of see my skin through it, if that makes sense. But with this one, it is more mattifying. Even though the primer that we used kind of gives us that glow anyway. I'm noticing that the foundation is still mattifying, which is good. And it's very full coverage. Like, it immediately covered all of my freckles and like old acne scars. Like, you literally can't see anything on my face. It's all one tone. Very, very nice. All right, so this is one side of my face done with the matte pink cushion foundation on my left side over here. I went a little bit over on my forehead, but as you can see, it really covered up all of like my redness, my freckles I have up here. It looks completely even over on this side. It's not totally matte yet, but I'm gonna give it a second to dry down and we'll see what it looks like. But already, very, very full coverage. I only used a very thin layer. You really don't need a ton of this stuff. A little bit goes a very, very long way. And I'm sure you've seen people who've tried the red cushion foundation. They just go in pretty heavy-handed and it ends up looking like an actual mask. But when you use it with just a little layer on the pad all around your face, it really does blend out and it looks pretty good. So let's go ahead with the silver cushion. This is the dewy formula. Let's go ahead and apply this one to the right side of my face and then we'll compare and contrast and I'll give you my thoughts. Again, same thing with this one. You have your mirror, you have your little TIRTIR application pad here, a little trap door just to keep the product airtight, and here is our sponge. As you can see, this one is super, super saturated with product. It's kind of like dripping out of this sponge. Really, really nice. So let's go ahead and do the same thing. Just tap a little bit with this blending sponge. We got a lot of product on there. This is more than enough to cover half of my face. So let's apply. Right off the bat, I'm noticing that this one is slightly less coverage than the matte formula. I already had to go in for a second dip into the foundation, which makes sense. They did mention that this was going to be slightly less coverage. It's more of a natural finish than the matte formula, which was very, very full coverage. But I do like the feel of it. It's very natural looking. This is the same exact color as the other one, 17C Porcelain. And as I'm using the pad here, I'm kind of keeping my two fingers pulled against each other so it's very taut because I'm using the full shape of that blending sponge. But as I need to get into like the corner of my eye, like around my nose, I'm kind of like bending my fingers, if you can see. So I'm just using more of like the fingertip on this one to really get in there and get like the corners of my eyes and the corners of my nose, and then keeping the fingers taut for the broader parts of my face. But yeah, I keep finding myself wanting to dip in and get more product just so it matches the full coverage of the other side, which is fine. Like, I know they're not gonna be the exact same, but I'm trying to get them to match at this point. So just note that for this one, it's definitely more of a natural finish and not as full coverage. So if you want that full coverage look, you're just gonna have to end up applying more product. But do you guys see how like dewy and natural it looks? Even though it's a lot of product, you can still see my skin kind of like gleaming. Even on this side that's supposed to be matte, I swear it's the primer. It's like the Milk Skin Ampule that does this. It just looks so dewy and natural. Completely covered up all my redness, completely covered up all my freckles. I really, really love these formulas. So at this point, you might really not be able to tell much of a difference between the two sides, but this is the mattifying side, the pink cushion, and this side is with the dewy formula with the silver cushion. I don't know, to me it looks very, very similar. I think it was probably because of my primer, but I like the way it looks. I really, really do. I've been using the cushion foundations since like probably back in May. It's been my go-to foundation, so I'm gonna use these regardless. I think it looks good. These products are really interesting because the US doesn't really have any brands making cushion foundations like this. However, cushion foundations are very popular and very common in Asian markets. As a matter of fact, this red cushion foundation was a #1 seller in Japan, and ever since it went viral this past summer, people have been crazy about this one. And I've been crazy about it too. Like, I've been trying to get into more K-beauty and J-beauty lately. I've been trying to learn about different makeup techniques. And I'm also discovering that a lot of Asian makeup brands are just leaps and bounds better than what we have in the US, because a lot of Asian makeup brands are really focused on skincare, and they add ingredients that will keep your skin healthy while you wear makeup. And with its growing popularity in the US, I feel like a lot of brands are gonna start following suit and create products that have those skincare ingredients in them. So now that I've let these sit for a little bit, they've dried down, I don't know if I see much of a difference with their overall finish. So on the left side here, this is supposed to be the more mattifying formula, which means not a lot of shine, not a lot of glow, not a lot of dewiness, but I'm kind of seeing a lot of glow and a lot of dewiness. I don't know. I think that it was probably because of the primer that I used, the TIRTIR primer, because it's meant for that glass skin, the dewy skin. So I don't mind it because I prefer more of a natural finish anyway, but this side is very full coverage. I purposely used this on this side because I do have more freckling and more redness on this side of my face, but it completely covered everything. And then as for my right side with the more glowy finish, yeah, I mean, this one, it does what it said it did. It is not as high coverage as the pink one, which I did notice. I did have to kind of apply a little bit more just to get the sides to match. But I think this side still looks really good. I love these TIRTIR cushions. Like, these have been my ride or die all summer long. Like, this is probably my new foundation. I'm gonna wear this until, I don't know, until there's something else that's better, I guess. But I love how it looks. Let me just go ahead and finish up my face with some concealer, powder, blush, bronzer, all the rest, and I will come back with my final thoughts. All right, so this is the finished look. Makeup is fully done, both sides with the TIRTIR foundation. What do we think? I think I got both sides to match overall. This side, is it dewier? Is it glowier? Maybe a little bit. I think I got them to match pretty well, but I will say that this was dewier and glowier when I first applied it. And then as for this one, I feel like it never really became completely mattified, but I don't typically like a completely matte foundation anyway, so I'm not mad about it. I think that it still looks really good. If you guys are curious, I did contour with this little Iconic London bronzing kit here. And then my blush today was from House Labs. This is the Color Fuse blush in the shade Dragon Fruit Days. Just a very vibrant pink. Honestly, one of my favorite blush shades, just a bright, obnoxious pink. Looks like you got bruised and beat up. But that's the look that I go for. I love bright pink blushes. And then of course, for my highlighter today, I'm also using House Labs. This is the Bio Radiant Gel Highlighter in the shade Peach Quartz. A very shifty, beautiful, gold pink tone, super cute. And then for my lip today, I used the Maybelline 24 Hour Super Stay, and this is in the shade So Pearly Pink. So I think that about covers it for the products that I used on top of the foundation. So what do we think? What do we think about these two formulas? Of course, I like the way it looks. I love TIRTIR products. They just work so well with my skin. They work so well with the primer. If I were to say who is this foundation for, I would say this one is for someone who prefers a more full coverage mattifying formula. Even though it's not completely mattifying on me, I feel like it depends on how you work with your products, whether you add more powder, whether you add more or less highlighter. You can definitely probably get this foundation to look more mattifying on you. It's very full coverage, very foolproof. It looks really good. And then for the Silver Cushion foundation, this is for the girl who's more into a natural finish, into more of like your skin but better kind of makeup. makeup. Still pretty full coverage, but you are going to have to layer it a little bit to get it to your desired finish. Overall, I think these are two really great additions to the TIRTIR Cushion Foundation collection. I really, really like these. I'm definitely going to be using these in the future. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this little TIRTIR Cushion Foundation showdown. If you liked this video and thought it was interesting and fun, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos just like this. And until next time, stay gorgeous, my sweeties.